We'll go ahead and get started. At this time, I'm going to ask Commissioner Sayer if he'll lead us in prayer.
Dear Lord, we just thank you for this day that you've given us. We just thank you for this county that we live in. We thank you for this great state of Georgia. We just thank you for our whole nation that we're a part of here in the United States of America. We pray, Lord, that you be with us during this meeting and help us to make the best decisions for the people of Hart County. Be with our EMS services, our deputies, and firefighters, and all the ones that work in emergency situations. Lord, we just pray for their safety and your guiding hand upon them each day. And we just pray that you would be with all of our folks here in Hart County and protect us as we live our daily lives. In thy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. This time I'd like to ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, I'll call to order the Tuesday, June the 11th, 2019 meeting of the Hart County Board of Commissioners. I'd like to welcome everyone here tonight. First item of business would be to approve the agenda. Terrell, any changes?
None at this time, sir.
I do want to, Walter's not here yet, is he?
No.
I do want to go into executive session when he gets here, because we got a personnel matter we need to discuss.
Make a motion
So
to be approved, that change.
If that's okay with everybody, we'll just,
Yeah.
once he gets here, just so everybody knows that's what our plan will be. So I have a motion by Commissioner Oglesby. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Teasley to approve the agenda. Any more discussion? Public comment? Not all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Next item on the agenda is approve the minutes of the previous meetings. You've got the May 28th meeting minutes in your packet. Can I get a motion to approve if everything's in order?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Sayer, a second by Commissioner Teasley. Any more discussion? Public comment? Not all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Next item on the agenda is remarks by invited guests, committees, and authorities. We don't have anyone. Reports by constitutional officers and department heads. This will be Mr. Gordon's. We'll have to come back to that. We're going down to county administrator's report. Terrell?
Tonight, I don't have anything tonight, sir.
Okay, we'll move on down to the chairman's report. First thing we'll talk about will be the financial report of the county. This is a regular report. We do the first meeting of every month. Bear with me just a minute. We look at our revenues and our expenditures. Revenues and expenditures from a budgeting standpoint are $1,022,170 per month. For the month of May, our revenues came in at $600,034. I'll talk about why we have the big miss there in just a minute. Actual expenses came in at $1,123,319, which is just a little over $100,000 over budget. But that's to be expected because of just the way some purchases go. We ended up with a delta of expenses greater than revenue of $523,286. Year-to-date reserve drawdown is $2.3 million. It's actually a good guy in a positive direction. Looking at actual numbers of revenue versus expenditures year-to-date through the end of May, our revenues year-to-date are $10,151,850 versus expenses of $7,834,106. It's a little bit misleading with the variance there because our main revenue driver is property taxes, and if you look at it, real property target over a 12-month average of $462,000. We only took in $42,000 in May. If you go back and look at November, December, and January, that's when the large majority of the property taxes were collected. LST, which is a sales tax, it's a 1-cent sales tax, is used to roll back our millage rate. Again, strong target for LOST was $179,000. May came in at $233,000. That's one of the largest months I can ever remember seeing. EMS fees came in at $90,598 versus a target of $91,700. So it was yellow, it was within 3% of the target. And then the vehicle title fee, which has been strong all year long, targeted revenue of $56,000 per month for budget, came in at $77,714. So a lot of people still buying cars. Automotive industry ought to be strong. Any questions on the financial numbers? Okay. We'll move on into Commissioner's report. Can I get a Commissioner District 1? I'm sorry.
Nothing, Mr. Chairman.
District 2?
I just want to say I appreciate the job that law enforcement, fire department, EMS, and all our county employees do every day. And that's all I got.
District 3?
I have nothing, Mr. Chairman.
District 4 Commissioner Carter's not with us tonight. I knew I drew a blank on the chairman's report. I do want to go back. One of the takeaways from our last meeting was to discuss with the Department of Corrections officials about our inability to get the Whitworth details. I have already began discussions with a representative, as I reported before, and county administrator is keeping a matrix of what days we're getting what details. Once we populate that matrix and get about 30 days worth of data, we'll be getting a meeting together and seeing if we can get some results. As you guys know, we're supposed to get 3 details, 2 of which are free because of the real estate transaction that took place years ago, and 1 is a paid detail. So we'll get into that a little bit later on into the month. And the other thing we need to think about is budget work sessions. We talked about one time before, July 11th and July 23rd and 25th, which would be the night after the second meeting, first and second meeting in July, and then a Thursday. Just something to think about. If anybody's got any problems, we can decide on this at the next meeting, but I'd like to get that budget stuff knocked out and went to July, so we'll be ready to roll. We'll go back up to department heads. Mr. Gordon.
I don't have anything specific
Okay.
tonight under my report. I do have a matter on the agenda with regard to the public defender budget.
Okay. We talked about briefly as far as putting the agenda, when you got here, we would go into executive session for personnel. We've covered all the way down to old business. At this time, I'd like to go ahead and go into executive session for personnel.
So moved, Mr.
I
Chairman.
have a motion by Commissioner Oglesby. Is there a second? A second by Commissioner Teasley. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. We'll be back out in a few minutes. Okay, can I get a motion that we exit
So moved.
executive session and back in the regular meeting?
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Oglesby and a second by Commissioner Teasley. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. We'll resume the meeting here on old business, item 12A, bid award for Recreation Department football uniforms.
Oh, yeah, we received 3 bids, all qualified. I checked all of them to be sure they had all the qualifications. It went before the Recreation Advisory Board. Their motion was, and vote unanimously, was to recommend Caribou Sports.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Have a
Second.
motion by Commissioner Oglesby and a second by Commissioner Sayer to award the football uniform bid to Caribou Sports. Any more discussion? Public comment? Not all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Next item on the agenda is item 12B, bid award for recreation cheerleader uniforms.
Correct. We received 3 qualified bids on these 2. And they was checked by me for correctness. They was all correct and qualified. They was put in front of the Rec Board. They voted unanimously to recommend Caribou Sports for those.
I make a motion, we approve that request.
Have a motion by Commissioner Teasley, a second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Sayer to award the recreation cheerleader uniforms to Caribou Sports. Any more discussion? Public comment? Not all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Next item on the agenda is 12C, bid award for recreation sport photography.
Correct. We received 2 qualified bids on these. They went through the same process for completeness, sent to the Board of Rec Board. They recommend Life Touch sport photography.
All right, I have a motion. Can I get a motion that we approve?
I'll make a motion to approve that request.
Have a motion by Commissioner Teasley. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Slater to award the recreation sport photography bid. Any more discussion? Public comment? Not all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Next item on the agenda is 2020 health insurance. At our last meeting, we talked about this.
He sent us some quotes and numbers back, and I forgot to give you y'all copies on my desk, so I can run and get them. He went back, we sent it out to Cigna and United Health and back to Blue Cross Blue Shield. Blue Cross Blue Shield came back after he negotiated with them again for the same coverage we got. Instead of a 10.92% increase, this is 5% increase.
This is about a $60,000 savings.
$66,000, correct.
Get back in it.
The other bids were a little bit lower, but the deductibles was higher. And if it goes as it's always been, they'll lowball it the first year, and we'll get hit with huge increases in the second year. Plus, we don't know what physicians is covered under their plans and all this stuff. Our recommendation is to go with the 5% and remain with what we have.
And coverages all stayed the same from what we currently have.
Yeah, our coverage stays the same, correct.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Deductible stays the same, everything.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Oglesby and a second by Commissioner Teasley. This goes to show what, there's always room for negotiation. And, you know, our broker said there wasn't, but obviously there was, so we saved a bunch of money,
How much did it say, about 60,000?
$60,000.
Yeah, right, about 60. Yeah, right at 75,000 altogether. Saving.
All right, have a motion by Commissioner Oglesby and a second by Commissioner Teasley to move forward with the revised quote with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Any more discussion? Public comment? Not all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Next item on the agenda is a 2020 Legacy Link Agreement.
Anything in order?
Everything's in order.
So
yes, sir.
move.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Oglesby and a second by Commissioner Teasley to approve the 2020 Legacy Link Agreement. Any more discussion? Public comment? Not all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Next item on the agenda is a 2020 Transit Purchase of Service Agreement with Avita Community Partners.
This is the same contract that we had last year. They contract for the ride for their clients. And again, the amounts for the rides at $3 a piece are the same as it was last year. Just a renewed contract.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Oglesby and a second by Commissioner Teasley to approve. Any more discussion? Public comment? Not all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Now we move into new, 12F, 2020, never mind, I'm all mixed up. Can't even read my own writing. Item 13, new business, 13A, Hart County Library request for LED lighting upgrade. Mr. Sanders.
Howdy.
Hey, how you doing, Richard?
How's it going?
Just dandy. Terrell said that he'd give you all the specifics about the proposal that I had received from the Energy Harness company. This is a proposal that would ultimately save the library several $1,000s a year in utility bills. The company can be on site to work in a couple of weeks if we get the funding. This is a company that I won't say it's been endorsed. I don't think he endorses companies, but the construction supervisor for the state library agency has seen the system installed in other libraries and has heard no complaints about it. And his opinion is one that I've trusted from other library directors. The overall project would cost $20,000. There'd be about a $3,000, I think it was a $3,000 or $2,000 reimbursement through Georgia Power, and then the State Library Office would do a 50-50 match with local funding. So the ultimate cost for Hart County would be about $8,000 for a $20,000 project that would ultimately save the library a bunch of money.
The funding ain't gonna come from a grant.
I'm sorry?
The funding, where's the funding coming from?
I was hoping from y'all, the 8,000.
The 8,000 maximum to the state grant would come.
If I just asked where it's come from a grant.
Well, it is part of the money come from grant.
Okay.
We would pay the, actually, it's a reimbursement. We would pay the $16,000 first, and then the state would reimburse us for half, for the 8,000.
I don't have no problem with that. So move, Mr. Chairman.
Have a motion by Commissioner Oglesby. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Sayer, that we move forward with this. Any more discussion? Public comment? Not all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously.
Awesome. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you. Continue to look for ways to save. Thanks. Okay, next item on the agenda is the FY20 budget schedule. I mentioned that earlier in Chairman's report. Looking at those dates, July 9th and 11th, 23rd and 25th. The 9th and 11th, we have our regular scheduled meetings.
Okay.
Is everybody good with that?
Good.
What was the other two?
9th and 11th, 23rd and 25th. Till we get done. Till we get done. Last year, it only took us 3 meetings.
The 11th on Tuesday, so make sure you have some sub sandwich and pepper chips and some sweet tea. Thank you.
11th's on a Thursday, isn't it?
11 on Thursday, I thought we were going after our meeting.
It's Tuesday the 9th.
I'm not even going to attempt it without a calendar in front of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
9th and 11th and 23rd and 25th. Can I get a motion
So
that we
moved.
set those? Next, a motion by Commissioner Oglesby,
Second.
second by Commissioner Teasley. Any more discussion? Public comment? Not all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. That'll give us plenty of time to get our budget done. Next item on the agenda is 2019 hazardous waste resolution.
Yeah, this is a grant we apply for every year to recoup some of the costs of the closed landfill of monitoring it. This year, we're looking to, of the $44,997 spent, we're looking to recoup $29,937 of it back through this grant. And it just needs a resolution, which I have attached, to be voted and approved by the board, signed by the chairman.
I make a motion that we approve this hazardous waste resolution.
Have a motion by Commissioner Teasley. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Sayer. Total amount to be reimbursable is $29,937.02. Any more discussion? Public comment? Not all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Next item on the agenda is item 13D, a letter of support for the City of Royston's application for immediate threat and danger grant. There are about 30 citizens over in the Bakers Bridge Road area, Bakers Road. They have contaminated wells. This has been an ongoing issue. The City of Royston has worked with the Hart Railroad and has worked out an agreement to get a crossing where they'll be able to service the not only the Vanna Fire Department, but that other area over there as well. Could I get a motion that we write a letter for support to
I'll make a
City of
motion we
Royston's
grant this letter of support for the city of Royston.
I have a motion by Commissioner Sayers, there's a second. Second by Commissioner Teasley. Any more discussion? Public comment? Not all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Next item on the agenda is item 13E, beer and wine Class B application for Malik Babwani, Diamond Jubilee Partners of Georgia LLC, DBA Royal Food and Tobacco.
This is right there on the corner.
This is the one at Crossroads.
Crossroads.
They change your names again.
He sold out. This guy bought it.
Okay, what relationship did this guy to the one that had it?
None that we're aware of.
So they didn't want.
Everything in order?
Huh?
Everything's in order.
Correct.
So they didn't want to have the appeal.
Oh, no, that
That's a
case has been
different
settled for a
one.
long
Okay.
time.
That's already gone.
All right, so move, Mr. Chairman.
So I have a motion by Commissioner Oglesby and a second by Commissioner Teasley. Any more discussion? Public comment? Not all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Next item on the agenda is item 13F, Public Defender FY20 Budget Request. Walter?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is something that you do on a yearly basis, and as you remember, this is to set the budget for the Public Defender Service in the Northern Judicial Circuit. It is done every year at this time because the Public Defender Office, which is largely funded by the state of Georgia, operates on the state's fiscal year, which is July 1 through June 30th. So in order to operate after July 1st, this agreement needs to be voted on tonight. The agreement, I'm sorry that I didn't get it to you in time to be included in your email packet, but I believe that it was all provided later by the administrator, which I thank him. The agreement is exactly the same as the agreement that was negotiated, and first we started using this agreement years ago, and there's nothing that has changed. Each year, the funding formula, however, changes. And the funding formula is based on the amount of the local budget, which again is a relatively small part of the overall office budget, but it's a very significant part. But it's not the total. The state does provide significant funding for our Public Defender Service. The 5 counties of the Northern Judicial Circuit are assessed on an annual basis. There is an examination of the caseload each year. The county attorneys of the 5 counties determined some years back that that was a fair way to do it, because previously when we started this program back in the 90s, it was based on predominantly population and then what we might call is population coupled with guesswork back in those days. And there were four of the counties paid the same amount, and Oglethorpe County paid about half that much because it was smaller. Well, over the years, we've determined that the better way to do that is by looking at the actual caseload, looking at the exact actual budget, and then taking the caseload over a period of the last few years, determining which county has used the most, has cost the most to the Public Defender Service. And last year, we were fairly high on that ranking, you'll remember. Even though the budget didn't go up, our yearly and monthly share went up because of the caseload. Well, this year, as you noticed from attachment A that was provided, it was Franklin County hit the jackpot this year. Madison County hit the jackpot this year at $119,000, almost $120,000. Franklin County at $100,000. Hart County, thanks to all of the efforts of everybody involved, came in at $82,600. The share for Hart County is call it $6,900 a month in round numbers, and that is what the county's monthly contribution will be if you were to approve this. I think that the administrator did the math. I believe it's a savings, whatever it is, it's a little over $3,000 less than last year. So now, having said that, just as last year went up and this year went down, next year, be prepared. It may come back around to bite you next year too. But I recommend that you accept or adopt this agreement and authorize the chairman to sign.
I have a motion by Commissioner Oglesby and a second by Commissioner Teasley to approve the FY20 budget request and allow me to sign it on behalf of the county as chairman. Any more discussion? Public comment? Not all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Next item on the agenda is public comment. If you'd like to address the board, if you'll come to the podium.
We've got some fresh faces.
Good evening.
Hey,
Good evening.
I'm Brandy Shiplet. I'm the coordinator at the Extension Office here in Hart County. And I have with me tonight Mr. Bobby Smith, our Extension Director for the Northeast District. And tonight we are here to present the newly hired agricultural agent for our county. This is Mr. Reed Miller. He has come to us with a bachelor and master's degree from Clemson University, and I would love for him to tell you just a short bit about his expertise. I think he's going to be a great asset to our county.
All right. Thank you all for having me. I came originally from a small dairy farm in Edgefield, South Carolina, and straight out of high school I went on to Clemson and majored in animal agribusiness, and I worked on Clemson's beef cattle farm there. So my history is strong with animal agriculture and some of the row crops as well, and that's about the extent of that part. And then I went on to grad school, and that was more focused in the ag mechanization portion. So after that, I tried to do a stint in the military, but medically I wasn't able to accomplish that goal. But extension was my goal after that, and it was my original plan when I was in grad school. So this job came up, and I really like this area, and I really plan on being a part of this community and hoping to provide University of Georgia's resources to people here. So,
Okay. Good deal.
All right,
glad to have you.
we appreciate it.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Okay.
I just would like to invite everybody to the Extension Office next Tuesday, anytime during the day between 8 and 5. Reed will be in-house all day to be able to meet everybody in the public. He's done a little roaming around this week to meet some of our farmers, but I just want to let everybody know that he will be in office all day so he can meet the public at their will on Tuesday. So, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'd like to say one thing. We appreciate the partnership that we have with Hart County and providing an agent and our agents here in the county, and that is a partnership that we appreciate, and we really like to have that partnership and carry that on. We appreciate your contributions, and we appreciate, again, the partnership that we've had in the past. Mr. Charles Rice, who was a county agent here at Natural Resources for years, and a coworker of mine. Reed has already reached out to him, and he's going to work with him and go a couple of days next week and see the county. He's already worked with Pat Marcelino, who's the Elbert County Extension Agent. And I went to the Farm Bureau today.
yeah, we met a bunch of local farmers. Everyone I've met I've liked so far. I think it's going to be a good time here.
Okay. And we appreciate your partnership and look forward to continuing that. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you all.
All right, thanks. Anybody else for public comment?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Have a motion by Commissioner Owens, we adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Sayer. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried unanimously. Meeting adjourned.